It's time to leave the dust and traffic in Quartzsite and move north to Lake Havasu City, Arizona. Hi, we're Mark and Paula. We're continuing our 15-part series of Traveling Arizona. Lake Havasu City covers 46 square miles, housing 56,000 people, in one of the fastest growing counties in the U.S. It attracts 1 million visitors each year due to the historic London Bridge, gorgeous lake, and perfect winter weather. It's ranked as one of the safest, wealthiest retirement towns. The drive up Arizona 95 from Parker is beautiful. It will take us to our campsite. We're camping north of Lake Havasu. We'll tell you more about the boondocking and off-roading here in another episode, but this week, it's all about enjoying the city and doing it on the cheap. With only a 3-mile trek to shopping, we feel like we found a pretty sweet spot. We have some extra trash that needs to be taken care of. Our camping area has a camp host, so we asked him where we could dispose of it. Sometimes you just have to ask. We were told that there was a trash dumpster at SARA Park that people who camp on BLM land use. This worked out great since we wanted to check out the area anyway. There's a lot to do here. The name of this park is an acronym for Special Activities and Recreation Area. It's a county-leased park. You'll find rodeo grounds built and managed by Friends of the Fair that put on events throughout the year. There's also a covered playground, picnic areas, restrooms, shooting range, BMX course, and frisbee golf at the park. If hiking or mountain biking is your thing, there's a number of trails that range from 2 to 9 miles long. But since summer temperatures reach over 100 degrees with the lows close to the 90s, it seems like you better be prepared if you're hiking during certain times of the year. The trails seem well marked. We drove by a motocross park as well as baseball fields. The grass in the desert sure looks sad. We were looking around when we heard a familiar sound and looked up. It's a plane! Well, not really the kind of plane you might think. It's a remote control plane. So we drove over to check it out. These were huge, and unlike the RC planes we saw in Quartzsite, they run on gas and needed their own trailer to be transported. These fellows were kind enough to let us stay for a while and enjoy the air show. It appears they're out here just about every day the weather cooperates. We're impressed with their skill. yeah, there's a dog park here too. When you think of Lake Havasu City, you think of the relocation of the old London Bridge that now sits in the center of town. In the English Village, at the base of the bridge, is a great visitor center that introduces you to the town and explains the enormous feat that it took for the bridge to stand here today. Not only can you get a bit of history here, you can also pick up maps, a calendar of events, get all of your questions answered, and even pick up some memorabilia. Make sure and pick up a map that tells you where to find the 28 replica lighthouses around the lake. The London Bridge was originally built in 1831. It was the second stone bridge that was built over the Thames. It was bought by Robert McCullough, dismantled, then moved to Arizona in the 60s. Each piece was labeled and shipped to the port of Long Beach, California, then transported overland to Lake Havasu City. The reassembly of the bridge began in 1968. And the bridge opened for traffic in 1971. It took several $million more than expected. It's considered the world's largest antique and is the second most popular tourist attraction in Arizona. Surrounding the bridge are shops, dining, places to rent bikes and watercraft. You can also sign up for the water-based guide tours here. Whenever there's water, it calls our name. We aren't gamblers, but for $5 a person, the Havasu Landing Resort and Casino will take you by ferry across the lake to California to visit their casino. The line was long, so we barely made it on and had to ride inside. Still, a nice ride that lasts about 20 minutes one way. The casino has games, slots, and 48 hotel rooms as well as a campground. But we came to eat at their restaurant that looks out over the lake. A view like this always makes the food taste even better. after an enjoyable and reasonably priced meal, we had time to walk along the beach before catching the ferry back. This time we'd ride up on top for a better view. Lake Havasu's beautiful blue-green color comes from a high concentration of calcium carbonate and magnesium dissolved in the water, reflecting the sunlight. With the desert as a backdrop, it's stunning. Lake Havasu has some very nice parks. We thought we'd come and see if we could find a launch point to do some kayaking. This park has 12 armadas equipped with barbecue grills, 2 covered playgrounds, a swim area, various walking paths, large grassy areas, restrooms, volleyball and basketball courts, an enclosed dog park, and even a community stage. We're always looking for free things to see and do. The replica of the Gold State Coach used during the coronations and beginning of Parliament. The original was built in 1762 to replace Queen Anne's coach. And, of course, we need to drive over the London Bridge. This little museum is only open Tuesday through Saturday and operates through donations. It filled in some of the holes we had about the area's history. There are some nice displays on the indigenous people, history of Lake Havasu, the lighthouses here, and even has an interactive nature center. But the thing that stood out to us was a movie explaining the background of the man who brought London Bridge to the area, Robert McCullough. We were familiar with the name from his line of chainsaws, but it turns out he was quite an inventor. In addition to developing the first one-man chainsaw in 1948, He also manufactured outboard motors, superchargers, and a prototype automobile that promoted alternative fuels. But the most interesting invention was a hybrid helicopter-airplane combination that offered a simple, easy-to-fly aircraft for personal transportation. I wish that one had been more successful. Can you imagine? He was a real visionary, so it's no wonder he would attempt to move an entire bridge across the ocean, bring it to the desert, and develop a community around it. We were wondering if the old nursery rhyme, "London Bridge is falling down," and the idiom implying you're gullible, "I've got a bridge to sell you," came from McCullough's experience with the London Bridge. Actually, I think the idiom might be related to the Brooklyn Bridge. Not sure. So we're back to one of the parks along the lake. This time we're looking at Rotary Park. We're still looking for the easiest way to enter our kayaks to paddle up the channel to the London Bridge. This park is just as stunning as the London Bridge Beach Park. It too has all the same amenities as the park across the channel. These are free parks. With great parks like these, it might be worth 100-degree temperatures in the summer to live here. So we think we've got a plan, but we're going to wait until we have a day with no wind. Instead, we thought we'd go on a hunt for lighthouses. We're using the map we got from the visitor center. We've been seeing them here and there, but we know that there are a total of 28 replicas. They resemble lighthouses from both the east and west coasts as well as the Great Lakes area. These are supposed to be fully functioning and do actually serve to improve the safety on the lake. Many you can only see from the water, but we're going to find as many as we can. Replicas on the Arizona side of the river are models found on the east coast of the United States, while lighthouses on the California side are lighthouses found on the west coast. The lighthouses on the island are replicas from the Great Lakes. As we drove out to each one, we could see the lighthouses on the next point. We've picked our launch site at Rotary Park, and we've got the perfect weather day to take our kayaks out. The channel to the bridge is a no-wake zone and the current isn't strong, so paddling up and back won't be a problem. Next week, we'll take a drive up historic Route 66 and visit a town ruled by the area's donkeys. Don't forget to hit the bell so you don't miss an episode.
What do robots eat for snacks? computer chips.